Hello folks, I'm back again. Today I've got a little bit of a trim to do on this tank. This is post trim. I guess it's looking pretty nice. But I'm also going to talk to you about an endangered fish that I'm keeping and trying to bring back its numbers and trying to maintain the population within the hobby because its environment is no longer safe. We're doing some work on this tank and I want to talk to you about a new fish that I've got. It's the skiffia multipunctata. That is wrong. The skiffia multipunctata. So it's multi-spot is what it means. This is an endangered fish species. It is on the C.A.R.E.S list. It's one of the priority fish on the C.A.R.E.S list. If you don't know what C.A.R.E.S is, C.A.R.E.S is a organization that works with clubs and individuals and scientists and breeders to try to help the populations of critically endangered fish all over the world, and just endangered fish or fish in trouble on the ropes. They got a fish breeders priority list that kind of that takes the most endangered species, the species that are having the biggest problems and are something that people can breed in their aquariums, and they encourage folks to gather those species up and try to produce as many of them as you can. I think in general the idea behind this is to keep some of these fish species alive. There's many species like the white cloud mountain minnow that only exist in aquariums. There's still more of these fish that through these organizations, sometimes they can breed large enough numbers to actually take them back to where they're from. That's a good segue for this Gooded. The collection point for this is Lago de Camicado. And the reason that you keep track of the collection points with these fish is, although there's several that are very similar, there's some that could be maybe eventually in the future be determined to be a distinct species or distinct family within these families of fish. I did a Google search for this location and I came up with this thing that looks sort of commercial. It looks like a little vacation spot. I'm probably looking at the wrong area, but it's kind of an interesting, it's like a little lagoon that these things are from. So when people acquire these fish and start to breed them, it's real important that you keep track of that family and don't like hybridize them between other ones, with the idea that maybe someday you could return them back to where they go. Right now my only goal is just to make more of them. So originally I got a male and a female through my fish club, the East Tennessee Aquatic Association. Unfortunately my female died. My male lives on, and he's actually in another tank because he's about twice as big as these guys. These I purchased online. I ended up with about 4 males and 2 females. One of the males and the females I've split apart, and the other males are all in here. I noticed that the males do tend to fight quite a bit. But let me tell you a little bit about the skiffia multipunctata. The skiffia. They prefer cooler waters. They don't want to be over 75 degrees for any long period of time. 68 is fine with them too. You know, 68 to kind of really low 70s is probably their preferred temperature. They like the pH to be a little bit harder too. They like it like the 7.4 or so. My water right out of the tap is normally about 7.2 or so, and they seem to enjoy that without me having to augment the water too much. They haven't bred yet, and I don't know if that achieving a specific hardness is key to making that happen. These are fairly young fish, so I'm just feeding them really well and just hoping for the best and try to create an environment where they would probably have babies. So this aquarium itself, this is the Fluval Flora. It's a 16-gallon tank. We'll be moving them eventually over into like bigger tanks and stuff. Hopefully, this is just kind of a get them started in my aquariums kind of aquarium. It was really overgrown a few days ago. I've got a lot of stem plants in here, and I decided to give them all a trim. big stem plants and stuff actually probably make a really great environment for these guys, but they were getting a bit too long and they were starting to shade out all the other plants in the tank. So I had to remove them. And what I do with those stem plants is I'll remove them, I'll cut the tops off, and then I'll replant them down into the tank. So eventually they'll grow back up and kind of cover the top. Once I was done kind of resetting this tank and getting it cleaned up, I noticed that the males are really going at each other. A lot of sort of territorial disputes and dominance displays and stuff going on. The two biggest males especially were really going at it. I decided to take one of those males and one of the females, and I separated them into one of my tanks upstairs. Now this tank has also recently been cleaned up and stuff, and I'll be showing you all of these tanks in my all aquarium update that's coming up real soon, so be sure to check that out. But I took them upstairs and I've been observing them kind of alone by themselves. They seem really happy up there. They're swimming all around. They tend to graze a lot. They're grazing fish that kind of, you'll see them go all up and down the plants. I'd say if you're keeping these, if you've got a really heavily planted tank, they've got to be eating a lot of the stuff that kind of grows along the outsides of these plants and stuff, the stuff we can't see. And I don't know if it's a lot of algae or bugs or little invisible things. The adult male that I have is fairly large. I'd say it's about as big as maybe a swordtail or something like that. And they are live bearer species, so they're not laying eggs or anything. They'll be live, small fish that come out. They have, I think, comparatively smaller broods from what I've read. I haven't personally bred them yet, but I think they'll have kind of smaller broods, which makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of get large numbers of them. From what I hear, they're not extremely predatory, and the people that I've talked to about keeping these, they don't separate them off into couples necessarily. But I thought it might be interesting to kind of just have a couple up there by themselves, just to have the most opportunity. He doesn't have to worry about territory or anybody else. All they got to think about is making more. So hopefully that does the trick and I end up with a bunch of these really soon. I'd love any tips that you have for keeping them. And I do think it's important to kind of point out that sometimes it's more than just keeping the fish that you like. Sometimes those fish are in danger and maybe you could do something about it. So it's kind of like your hobby plus sort of a feel good. It gives you a little bit more purpose than just doing something because you enjoy looking at them. I think it would be amazing to be able to make more of these, be able to share them with more responsible people that also want to kind of keep these fish going and just keep that species alive. A lot of the reasons for these fish's environment are because of human interventions in their natural environments and stuff. So it's kind of nice to be able to counter that at least a little bit by keeping them alive in sort of a hobby scenario. And the ideal scenario would be to clean up and take care of the place where they're at. But I am fairly new to these fish, but I really enjoy them. I could see myself dedicating a lot of tank space and a lot of time to making more of these. And so that is my new personal project, to make as many of these as I can. The C.A.R.E.S program is really interesting. There'll be a link down below for you to take a look. I guess one criticism I have is that a lot of their information seems really old on the website. Even like I guess they used to give away awards and stuff for people that did great for breeding and things like that. So I don't know. The last one I saw was from 2019. I know that they update some of those lists, and there's still a lot of valuable information there. Apparently they have an active Facebook group where a lot of people like to talk. But I'll leave a link to their website. Be sure to check them out. They've got a list there. You can see if maybe some fish you're keeping already are on the C.A.R.E.S list, and maybe you should give them a little bit more attention. Do a little bit more, do something to personally see if you can make more of these fish that are having issues. Fishues. So folks, I've got a couple of videos planned for the end of the year. One is about Odessa barbs. I've got these Odessa barbs from a club member. He's an ichthyologist actually, and he talks to me a little bit about how to breed them. And another one about a fish that you can't have because it's in one little pond in the world and it's on a military base. So good luck catching that fish. And of course, we got the All Aquarium Update where we go through every aquarium and terrarium that I own and discuss the ups and the downs. I don't do many of those a year, just 2 a year of those updates like that. So be sure to come back and take a look. That's all coming up in December. We'll see you then.